Welcome to another exciting episode of the Neville Goddard podcast. My name is Mr. 2020. Today we're going to explore because Dee asked, can it take years? Do I need to persist? I got to tell you, what most people are teaching is just going to have you hope and pray. I'm not a fan of that. What most people teach, persist. Not a fan of that either. I want you to get something really important today. Your manifestings happen faster than you think. I'm going to give a very specific success story, one that changed my entire life. And I'm going to invite you to dive deeper. Have a lovely day. Let's dive in. All right, so Dee sent me an email today. This is really good, Dee. I appreciate you being a listener and learner and doing what you're doing. So let's dive in. So Lynn says, here's my question, and maybe you can expand upon it further. There's a coach I'm following on YouTube. I really like her. She seems extremely genuine and has informative videos. But today I called her on something and I think she didn't like it. A person commented about how long it takes to manifest something, and her response was not to be focused on how long, but to persist in the end result. By the way, the theatrical bits, that's mine, right? Meanwhile, she said, it can be instant, days, weeks, months, or years. In your experience, can something take years to manifest? Or are we doing something incorrectly that's taking this long to manifest? Any suggestion of the courses you carry that can help would be greatly appreciated. All right, Dee, ready? I'm going to suggest manifestingmasterycourse.com, but we'll get to that later. Just get the salesy shit out of the way, right? Manifestingmasterycourse.com. 90-day adventure, $97. I should triple the price, but I'm not today. Meanwhile, can some take years? Absolutely. Why not? Right? Here's the cool thing. So legally, it was going to take 4, maybe 5 years after a certain deadline before I could become a citizen of Australia. I had been living here first as a visitor, then as a temporary resident, then as a permanent resident. And somewhere along the line, there was like a 4-year gap before I could even apply to be a citizen. And I'd been imagining being a citizen since I started visiting. You know, like somewhere along the line, I fell in love with the land, with my wife. And so, did it take years to become a citizen? Yes, it did. But here's the cool thing. It happened, I believe, 2 years ahead of schedule. And I'll tell you why. Because I had imagined being a citizen. I'll tell you how I did it. I imagined voting. I hate voting, by the way. You guys that have the Pearl Power Pack understand why. I don't put my faith in politicians. I have a functional faith. But meanwhile. So, it took years. It happened years ahead of schedule. And the cool thing is, it all happened, quote unquote, by divine accident. I met a woman at the river. She talked funny. Turned out she was South African. She remarked that I talk funny. I'm a Pennsylvanian. We have a little chat. She came over like the exact same time I did, and she was already a citizen. You see, I didn't know. They changed the law. I was thinking, here's a big distinction, I was thinking it was going to take another 2 years. Meanwhile, I had imagined already being a citizen. But then I went in and applied. I ran into a hiccup. I didn't have a valid passport. It would take me probably another year to get a valid passport living on Australia because my U.S. passport expired. You don't need a valid passport to stay in a country where you're a permanent resident, by the way. Someone's going to ask. At least not here. But you do need it if you want to travel, or you need it as a legal document. Unless you call someone on the phone after imagining being a citizen and they say, oh, here's a back door. You can use it as a travel document instead of a passport. You don't need a valid one. You see, the cool thing is this. Against all odds, years ahead of schedule. It doesn't matter how long it takes. All I notice is it happens faster than I think it would. All the time. Because here's what we do. I know Neville used the word, but he doesn't use it the way most LOA coaches are. Persist! You must persist in your imaginal act. Persist! You know, for me, this is like dating. I took my wife out on a date on Monday. I was out here in the portable disposable hot tub, and I went in and said, woman, we need to have a family meeting. She rolls her eyes. All right. So she follows me in to have a family meeting, draw my toes off, get dressed, all that good stuff. And I tell her, woman, I'm taking you out for Greek food. And we did. We had a wonderful time. But I appear to digress because things happen easily, instantly, effortlessly when you play. This is why we do the Joseph Goddard thing. You asked about products. I'll toss them out there. Joseph Goddard to the max. You can get that at Neville Goddard's store. The Attitude of Abdullah. You need an attitude for this to work. And the attitude isn't persist. The attitude is play. And I know Neville used the word persist. People tell me this all the time, but obviously, Mr. 20, you haven't listened to Neville. Said, obviously, you haven't listened to Neville's tone of voice. Because nowhere do I ever hear Neville saying, struggle, hold on, keep the faith. What I hear is playful acceptance. An honest, playful acceptance when I listen to him. Maybe you've noticed he talks about the attitude of Abdullah. So do we. Meanwhile, if you got gold today, here's what I'd do. I'd give up on persisting. I am not a fan. Because once I nailed being a citizen, again, that was one of my long-termers. I've had other long-termers, stuff that I suspect will take years, happen ahead of schedule. Because thinking isn't the secret. Neither is emotions. There's a feeling that is, though. And for me, the feeling was I already am a citizen. Because I imagined voting. And even when the voting announcements came out, before I quote-unquote was a citizen, I'd still cringe. Because it's like, man, I gotta go waste time doing dumb shit. I'll give you a hint. When I vote for the Pirate Party. I figure parrots and peg legs, we actually have a pirate party here. Parrots and peg legs gotta be the way to go. At least we'll be having fun. So, if you got gold, we've talked about things like the Attitude of Abdullah, the Joseph Goddard method. These are the things that have you playing. ManifestingMasteryCourse.com is the backbone of all we do. Hyper reasonably priced, by the way. $97 for a 90-day program. Takes about 15 minutes a day. I know, according to the experts and the placebo effect, I should charge triple for it and add in something difficult every day. Because people love difficult. Look around. Most cultures tell you to persist. In other words, have faith. Hope. You know, doubt, faith, and hope, the way most people use them, they're the same turd. Just put different sprinkles on it. Neville Goddard said your faith in God is measured by your confidence in you. Your confidence in you will have you ignore rational thinking and enjoy feeling it real. All right, D, I greatly appreciate the question today. Have a lovely day. And join us in ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. See ya.